Hope you're having a great night. As a syndicator or deal sponsor, your role is to collect as much information as you can when you buy a deal to limit your downside risk. If you do it right, the answers you get to your questions will determine not only if you want the deal, but also help you during the negotiation process. For most people, they make assumptions when they're entering a negotiation and don't take the time to uncover the details of the property itself. So you want to help the seller by solving their problem. And I don't mean just unloading the property. A seller can have all kinds of reasons to unload. And you want to create a solution that really helps maximize your returns and helps the seller out as well. So here are 5 questions to ask a seller when you're assessing a multifamily deal. All right, so question number 1, why are you selling? Seems rather obvious, right? But you want to find out why the seller is selling the property. And then you can begin to understand how you can solve their problem. Their why will tell you how motivated they are to sell. This will give you an idea of what you need to do to help them out and also help outline how quick they want to move. So in this case, you really need to focus on the reason behind the sale. If there's no motivation, they won't unload, basically. But there could be a multiple number of reasons why they want to unload. It could be burnout, they want from the property, they want to retire, there's a bankruptcy or a divorce, or there's some code violations they just don't want to deal with. Okay. Question number 2, are you an active buyer or is this part of a larger portfolio? By finding that out, you can get some insight as to whether this person is just a mom and pop single deal owner or part of a larger group that has many, many buildings. This may allow you to get an off-market deal and bundle it with the subject property you're looking at getting, maybe at a lower price, perhaps, right? Lower cost per door. I like to ask sellers about how long they've owned the property because it may reveal some strong motives behind the decision to sell. Maybe they got in under some really bad financing and they need to get out from under the note. Or maybe they've even fully depreciated the property and looking to move their capital elsewhere. Or maybe they're just frustrated with the property and they want to get away from it. Whatever the reason, all right? How long they owned it will tell you a little bit more about their motivation to get out from under it, okay? So question 3, what are you planning on doing with the cash from the sale? So if the seller is going to dump their cash into a bank account earning 0.5% interest, you can ask them if they would rather earn 6% by carrying a note. So typically investors with larger properties, they're familiar with the whole concept of owner financing. But if they're not, or maybe you're doing a smaller deal, then maybe you can educate them on the overall benefits. I'll count on you guys to research that. You can also see if there's some time constraint that'll help you win the deal if you're in a competitive situation. So earlier I mentioned like a 1031 exchange. If you discover that the seller is looking to do a 1031, there will be a race against time to close that deal and move the cash onto another property, otherwise get nailed in taxes. So in this case, the seller is looking for a sure bet to close the deal, right? If you can convince him that you can close and you can deliver, you can win that deal and even get something knocked off the sale price as well. So question 4, here's another question. Can you tell me a unique challenge you've had with the property? So every time a seller explains a challenge or a conflict related to that property, it provides just a little more color to the motives to sell, right? It could be anything from bringing in the wrong tenant base, or maybe there's constant mechanical issues that they have to deal with that they maybe didn't disclose when you first started talking to them. This question is meant to tell you a little bit of the style of the management as well, right? So it gives you some insight as to the problems they face throughout their ownership. But more importantly, it tells you what you're going to have to fix once you get your hands on the deal. Regardless, you're delivering this question in a very conversational way and non-confrontational. You're just asking questions about how things are run there, right? And finally, question 5, what financing is in place today and is the loan assumable? The type of financing they have in place will tell you a lot about how they're doing on the property. if the seller ended up with some high interest rate or short amortization, it could be an indicator that they're just having some cash flow problems. Then again, the loan they may have in place is way more favorable than what's currently in the market. But this is a case where you want to know if the loan is assumable or not. Because if it is indeed assumable, you may be able to get your hands on a good deal when it comes to the financing side of things. But you have to keep in mind that just because a loan is assumable doesn't mean it's easier to get into the deal. The more often than not, you still have to qualify for that loan as if it were a brand new loan, right? But the good thing is that the bank that typically has a loan wants to hang on to that loan, so you might have a leg up on that. But you can also help the seller out by helping them out by not incurring any prepayment penalties that if such penalties exist. Anyway, the point of this video is to I'll always ask questions, right? Ask the same question multiple times at different steps throughout the process to see if you get the same answer over and over and over again, all right? You want to make extra sure that the information that you're receiving is true and valid. And remember that your job as a real estate entrepreneur is to help solve their problem, whether it be getting out of the property or just for personal reasons or maybe even just to cash out. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions about how I do this, or better yet, let me know what questions you have. What do you guys do when you're doing your due diligence? Let me know in the comments below. And anyway, hope you guys have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.